What's popping YouTube? Maximus the Forex trader, and I'm back with the weekly recap. But since we're going back in time, we're just gonna finish the last week of November, which I'm pretty sure is the 29th to the 3rd. So the trend lines are gonna look a little different boxes because I deleted them on accident. But basically, it's still like the same formula. You get me? Like the overall sense of direction of the market. One moment, because this should really be like this, so I won't get any confusion. This is the 29th. So yeah, Australia, New Zealand, like we was in an uptrend. The dealer double resetted. We closed back above the 50 and 200. Yeah. So we were looking for a trade going up, but beginning of the week, we opened up long. The dealer touched retail trader support line, so that right there didn't really give you any type of signal, because sometimes you do gotta wait for like Tuesday, like around Tuesday, where you can start trading. And then we was at the kind of trend trade zone, and usually when the dealer kind of trend trades, he'll throw you a pin shift and then a little pullback, like a Brinks trade, and you could possibly take that going down. But those trades are only really good when you see real good pins, you feel me? And the M or W is confirmed with pins with wicks on the retail trader kind of trend trade position area, depending on whether the trend is up or going down. But remember how I told you, like, depending where on the dealer closes on the 50, like let's say he passes to 200 or whatever. But if you don't, like, let's say, like in this example, in an uptrend, oh, wait, what? How the dealer's supposed to close above the 50 and shift higher since we're in an uptrend. But if you see him, like, because we have market maker horizontal trend line, you know what I'm saying, called trend trades zone 1 and 2. And do you see the dealer break that? He breaks resistance. Like, he'll shift above but then come back down, break resistance, and no, he'll break support and support of the market maker trend. Then, like, what you could do is you can look for like some sort of M formation where the dealer is not closing back above, like, yeah, like he's not closing like higher above the 50 EMA in this case, for an example, as a kind of trend trade. So that means like he wants to close lower, especially if he breaks a retail trader trend line basically, and support how it becomes resistance, and how he's not closing below the first zone of the content trade. You could take that going long. You get me? You just wait for the first leg of the M, you wait for the pullback, second leg, and then you take that going low. Like sometimes, like, yeah, like you might have to wait for the second leg to. It might be rare for it to stop hunt, but it can do that and then take it going low. But for something like that, you will have to like scale in on it, and that's how you would have grabbed your 50 pips, or you can manage it like because that's 45 pips right here, right? So what you could have done is like you could have waited for like another pullback, and then taken it, then basically move your stop loss, and then see if it shifts. But if the trend starts going against your stop loss, then it's like it could hit it. But as long as you already broke even, like more, at least like 35 pips, you know what I'm saying, and you could have grabbed your take profit at support basically, or of the box, or support of retail trader trend line. And basically we're just looking more examples of like how to identify resets more, especially based off the 50 EMA, basically depending how it closed and depending on the direction of the market. So yeah, like although like although it did go down, don't get me wrong, like yeah, like although it seemed like it was gonna reset, don't forget that we're still in an uptrend. You get me? Like he can go back to support and then close back above, you get me, and then continue back up just to even hit all these stops right here, all this, because like to slow the momentum, he'll hit the stops harder next week. You get me? Like you get me? Boom. You see how the momentum was slow here, and then how he came back next week and hit it hard. So that's something to think about. CAD JPY. I'm pretty sure I marked all the charts. So yeah, November 29th to the 1st, we was in a downtrend. Um, easy, very easy trade. So like we was in a downtrend. The dealer opened the week on the retail trader trend line. You get me? And all the EMAs are basically pointing down, because like the dealer, he could play a little tricky. You get me? Around the 800, but the thing about the 800, if he sticks around it for long, like based off the direction that you want it to go to, then it's like he'll probably actually end up going that direction. Because sometimes what he does, like if he's not going to do that, he'll just shift away from that 800 area fast. You get me? Like some type of false breakout or something like that. So then we're noticing that the dealer, he opens the week, he's closing clean on the on the retail trader trend line. You get me? Basically creating a multi-session second leg of a second leg M, because this is if the dealer wasn't gonna if the dealer wasn't if the dealer was going to break if the dealer was going to break above for like a reset, he would have done it after these on one of these two candles as a strong shift. You get me? But he didn't. Like we noticed, like the candle play was like slow and steady, and they give you like a triple top, second leg over second leg, 2 and 2 trade. Then you could have tried to take that going low. You get me, for 45, and I'm pretty sure you would have grabbed your 45 pips there. Um, Let me see something. You could have grabbed more than 45 pips, basically, because what you could have done is, since it's like it's already kind of the beginning of the week, you could have put your take profit at the trend line, because he most likely would have went there either way at the retail trader trend line, which is the box level support and resistance, basically. So we have some kind of trend trade moves, but like we like to see strong wicks. You get me? Wick candles, and then like some type of Brinks trade, or the dealer can come back around a second time, the area, wick it very hard, pull back, and then take it going long. Like in this area of the market for a sell, like there wasn't really no confirmation for a sell, unless like he came back for the second leg. He could have hit the stops, or he could have closed clean again with a second doji for the second leg, but he didn't do that. He just shifted right away. So it's like we'll kind of miss that real quick. Now here's the thing, like we're noticing the dealer closing clean off the retail trader trend line, but like we're waiting for wicks. You get me? And then some type of pullback, like boom, like we got a wick, a pullback. You could have gone try to get in this one, or if this one right here would have been perfect. You get me? Especially on market open. And since it was already Friday, like you wouldn't try to really trade that. Well, like you would trade it, but you won't hold it. Obviously, and plus it's a kind of trend trade. And you would have grabbed your 45 pips. Honestly, more if you would have managed it. But yeah, that's how you would have traded CAD JPY that week. That's a good kind of trend trade. notice how to notice counter trend trades, and also three hits to the high or low, um, based off a trend line or something like that. So yeah, Swiss JPY, we was in a downtrend. It was in a downtrend, but what we're noticing is that the dealer, like, he's passing the 200 so much, like, but he's not closing below that. Like, he'll hit the stops, yeah, but he's still not passing below that. It's because he wants to reset going long. You get me? That's what ended up happening later, but wasn't there at that point. Um, One moment, because this could be possibly be a trade right here. So yeah, like, not just level three, you can trade both ways, but you can also trade both ways, like around level two when the dealer, he's trapping, basically not really trapping, because you can trade off the highs and lows, but consolidating above that EMA, you could trade that both ways. And this right here, even though, like, this is a kind of trend trade, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of tradable. Like, you can figure it out. Because I know we're in an uptrend basically, and the dealer opened up the week. He hit the stops right from last week, and just a bunch of stops. So he's going long, right? But then you just want to, since we know that he's playing on the EMA up and down for a little bit, that we could just try to take it going up if we see the opportunity, and then try to take it going down one more time just in case the reset is false and it actually continues the actual trend. So once you see him pull back strong, especially him pinning against the 200, then you could try to take that going along. Like, he might pin just a little bit more, but you could take that going along. What do we have gone stopped out? Let me see. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because we use, I say 7 pips. You get me? I always say 7 pips, but that's the most I'm really, because me, I'm trying to grow a small account. Like, let's say like you had like a bigger, more capital. You had more capital. You could have tried to take this going long. You get me? You probably would have gone stopped out just because the wick candle. You know what I'm saying? Because in all reality, like, these type of pullback trades, even though it's as a kind of trend trade, like, I like for it to work out the first time, and then he can come back around and wick it the second time, and that's where you could try to come in at. But this told me that there's not a trade. Just gotta be a little careful because it's a kind of trend trade. And moving on, um, the dealer opened up. He goes to the EMA, but we know we're in a downtrend, and he's consolidating off the 200 EMA. So it's like the first hit, like, you could try to take that going low. You get me? Because we're in the true direction. Um, with a true direction, because you know how the dealer likes to false break out the EMA. Basically, like, it's not the best signal, but it's something that you would want to try. You get me? Because like a little last kiss, you can see. Well, it's not a last kiss. I'm not gonna give out false information, but yeah, like, that's something you just want to try. Hold break out and then close back in at least like once. I mean, he did it a few times, like twice. He did it like twice. Like, the second time will be fine, you get me? But the third time to fourth, you gotta be a little skeptical. But don't get it twisted. Like, when he plays around the 200 EMA, he just plays around. Like, you could trade both ways. You get me? That, if you really think about it, he's giving you free trade. Like, he's giving you free money, because all you gotta do is just wait for those areas, basically. So yeah, that's what's JPY. That's what it was a little weird that week, but um, it was tradable. You got me? If you know what happens in certain areas and around certain EMAs, and you're confident about your trades, then that's how you would have traded that. And Euro CAD, we was in the uptrend. I'm pretty sure we're coming off level 3. So one moment. Yeah, this is an uptrend. Like this area, don't get me wrong, like yeah, it is a W because we're looking for trade going up, but it was just a little weird. You get me? Like the dealer opened low, um, a false move beginning low, close above the trend line, reach a trade the trend line and the box level, create a new level, close back above. If like this candle, green candle, double doji was to close above the 200, then that would have been a little bit more better. You get me? That's something that you would want to take. You get me? But since it didn't do that, like you gotta like really pay attention to like those type of trades where you want to take it off the EMA, like small dojis off the EMA. Like they gotta close above or below the EMA clean to really give you a signal. And if you don't do that, that don't mean that the trade wasn't valid, but you want a strong confirmation. You got me? Like you just want a strong confirmation. And he shifted high, but we had like the first wick, and you know how we let the trade pull back on the second time around, third time around. So we seen that we put our retail trade, our market maker trend line, horizontal trend line. Then we waited. You get me? If you see like two dojis and the third one, forget it. Like you could take it on the second doji, and then take it going long. You get me? Take it going long. But if you see wicks at kind of trend trades areas, depending on the direction, it's like you get out the next candle because like a real strong trend will break that. You get me? You really think about it. Like a real strong trend will break through all that support, resistance, all the trend line. It'll break all through resistance because we're in the uptrend. We're talking about uptrend, and that's what would have happened. And it's like when you take kind of trend trades, like yeah, like you do have the double wicks, but you want to pull back a little harder just in case. Like you want to see two, like at least 3 wicks, right, and then like a strong pullback, and then take it going short, so that way you can have like enough momentum to trade that basically. Um, like yeah, like this was a trade, but it was already Friday. If this blue candle was the candle where they hit the stops, then it would have been perfect to getting on the next candle. But since they hit on the next one, it's like because the road direction going up. You get me? But it's like it wasn't so sure. That's why I said to be real picky. Like there is trades. Don't get me wrong. Like there's never not gonna be a trade, but it's like some pairs, bro. Some pairs can be a little confusing some weeks, and some pairs only give you one signal to trade. That's why I say you gotta do more studying than trading. I always say that. So pound AUD November 29th to the 3rd. Yeah, so we was in an uptrend. I'm pretty sure level 3, like a P formation, level 3, something like that. So we were really looking for trades going up. Got me. Hmm. Like this right here would have been weird. You got me, only because this candle kind of closed below um retail trader zone 1. Like, and what could have happened if it would have went against you? Like you would have had two double dojis under the EMA pinning, and it could have went short, but it actually went long, which we was looking for. But we didn't really get like a real good confirmation. Now this candle right here, this doji, you could have traded that basically because the dealer, he went low, hit the support of the box. They did, and he's closing clean on the 50 EMA. They didn't even close um below it or retail trader trend line support. Like yeah, like he shifted already, but you could wait for like that one little pullback. You could have waited here too. Don't get me wrong. Like as like a little mini Brinks trade, like that pullback, boom, could have gotten in right there as a blue candle, taking that going long. Or to be on the safer side, you could have waited for so they show you his hand, like the direction he really wants to go in. Then a little pullback, like I say, to wait at least 5 to 10 pips. Yeah, something like that, like 10 pips, and then take it going long. And then if you would have managed, if you would have managed your trade, you could have. You know what I'm saying, you gotta ride that all the way to the trend line, because like if it's early in the week still and the dealer look like he's gonna go ahead to the trend line or box level, then it's like that's where you should put your take profit. You get me? And there wasn't really much. Oh yeah, there was. So basically, we went for a long, right? Like how I told you, if the dealer really wants to shift, like you can catch breakout trades off the trend line. You get me? But you gotta learn how to identify that. And we went into a new box support resistance zone. Basically, now resistance becomes support. And like you know how like the dealer does the information off the trend line, like this case for a long, like a fault. I'm sorry, we can talk about fault M, and you see him breaking higher off the trend line, not pinning, giving you wicks, and he gives you wicks to the downside. It's because he wants to go long. You get me? And that's how you would have traded that week, taking that going long, basically, because he's not kind of trend trading. He's going to you in the direction. Because if notice that kind of trend trades, um, they happen with strong wicks. You get me, against the real direction. So the opposite of that is a strong wick with the real direction on the trend line. Not closing above or below the box level or a retail trader trend line if there is any there. So that's how you would have traded pound AUD that week from November 29th to December 3rd. Okay, I didn't mark up that chart. It's fine. I'm gonna skip that. New dollar, CAD. I didn't do that neither. Yeah, I must have been busy and didn't get to mark up the rest of the other charts for November 29th to the 1st. But let's go ahead and review this chart, which is New Zealand dollar. Um like we was in a downtrend. Right? Like yeah, like we had like one hit, two hit to like the high of the week, and like he did shift low, but like since like we're kind of near the retail trader trend line, you want to see what happens on there. You get me? Like this right here, you could have traded like, cause like I always say, the second leg sometimes can be the stop hunt. So like you gotta wait like at least 10 pips to take it, that trade. So that's would have been that scenario. Like you would have waited this case like 15 pips, like at least 12 to 15 pips, because we know what I'm saying, that's the stop hunt, and take that going low. And then let's see, because this right here, you gotta put the like a little bit below that, the pullback zone. Basically, it's like you could trade it, but they're a little risky. You get me? Like you need a good amount of capital basically to trade that, because how we have the dealer hand. Like he would have hit your stops. You feel me? Um, Because this right here, like this next candle after they hit the stops, usually is where you will want to start trading. But if you notice, like he's not shifting lower, like he closed. Well, you know what? This right here could have been your entry, and you would have won. And this shows you something because it looked like the dealer was gonna close back above um zone one for resistance, but he didn't. He hit like a half a shift candle. If you notice that, and this is remember how I told you most of the time you get 5 to 10 pips after the next candle open. Boom, we would have gotten in right here, right? Because we waited that 5 to 10 pips, then the 7 pip stop loss, then you would have took it going low. Get me? If you manage your trade, bro, if you would have managed your trade, you would have grabbed your 45 pips. But sometimes you can't move. Like you probably would have scratched out a little bit with like 30 pips. I'm saying 40 pips because this spike candle right here was there. And I see what I traded that. There was only really 2 signals. You get me? Nothing too forced. Because at the end of the week, if you're already in profit, like this is like don't trade it. You get me? Unless you're really sure what you're looking at. So yeah, that's